Whitney, I'm excited to talk to you about what's going on with crime in Raleigh. I'm from DC, and what I see happening is from lack of enough action, it's like the storm is coming towards us. I've seen my original home, DC, that I don't feel safe in anymore. I have friends that are on the police force and even the Capitol Police I've talked to. It's not a good place. It's not. And then I'm watching what's happening in the larger cities, and I'm very concerned that if we don't step up our game, we're going to have the same problems here, and it's going to cost a lot more money to clean it up than if we aren't taking enough proactive actions now.
Yeah, so I think what we have is a dangerous combination of pushing people out on the streets because there's not enough housing and a shortage of police or police department. We haven't been funded with uh, our budgeted amount of police officers, which is 800 for some time. It's virtually impossible to really get an exact number of how many police there are in the police force, or at least it's hard to get them to give one that's really accurate because you got guys in training and guys on leave and all that type of thing. But 800 is where we're supposed to be from a budgeting standpoint. So you're not going to keep up at that number when you're replacing these people at 30 or even 60 a year, because people retire. We're not paying them enough. They peel off, go to other police departments, and also you have officers retiring. So with the homelessness problem, we don't have enough housing. And you can talk about affordable housing all day long, but at the end of the day, you don't have enough housing, someone's moving out on the street. You can have as much affordable as you want to, but you're just going to have the people at the top move down into that. So those are two things in concert that are a stick of dynamite where the fuse has been lit and we're already moving into some real bad situations.
Excellent. So what are some things people can do? Because we're hearing on Nextdoor and other tools, sometimes announcements of crime that we're not hearing on the news. So I'm not exactly in high confidence in our local news of accurately reporting what's going on. So what are some things citizens can do to get involved and start getting this number up? In fact, you even mentioned it was even projected needing more than 800. Is that right?
Well, yeah. So the police chief has said she'd like to have 1,000. Christina Jones, I was at a CAC meeting or a citizens meeting where she said 1,200, and I think she's even more where we need to be. Listen, Raleigh's growing. If we didn't have a rising crime rate, we'd still be saying this. The more citizens you have, the more you need to grow the police department along with it. There aren't some sort of magic economies of scale that you're going to have to grow it some for a growing population. That's just the way it is. And right now we don't pay the police officers enough. And so they're peeling off and they're going to other places like Cary, Apex, really just about anywhere in surrounding areas where they pay more to their police officers, Nightdale. And so, yeah, we gave the police a raise, but we were so far below par that we've got to do something else. I can't say, you can't get caught up overnight, but we've got to start paying them more money. We can't put all the money into the garden club, your parks and recreation type things and the glamour type things that we do with the city. And those are all fine, but you're also going to have to pay for the infrastructure things like a healthy police department, fire department, or first responders.
That's important. And then downtown, we've got some real crisis occurring downtown.
Well, so with the homelessness problem that we've created, which is a recent thing, I've been in Raleigh for decades. You're always going to have some type of homeless population. There are folks, believe me, I know it's hard to believe, that actually at some point choose to live out on the streets. And there are other economic reasons to push people out on the streets in a regular economy, but that's not what we've got in Raleigh. There are people being pushed out on the street. If there's not enough places to live, there's people that are going to be pushed out on the street. And these were the type of people that were necessary workers to be able to run our city, restaurants and different types of jobs or hourly type jobs that these people worked in. Well, guess what? When they're pushed out into a tent city, they sort of figure out they don't really need to go to work or can't go to work. And so that's what we're seeing now in Raleigh, that we've got this population that has been pushed out on the street. Now, I think that they believe that we can build this affordable housing out on the fringe of Raleigh, out in places like Wake Forest. They're building apartments like No Get Out that are affordable type places. But now, as a hourly worker that maybe works in downtown Raleigh, you got to take a bus, 40-minute bus ride into downtown, and you're making $15 an hour. That's really not the way things used to be. It used to be that they lived right close by. They could take a bicycle or walk to work, or even take a bus ride. And that's not there anymore. You can't afford to live in these places in downtown Raleigh anymore. They're being torn down and luxury housings being put up in their place.
Businesses are being broken into downtown as well. That's another problem. Who's going to want to stay if the city keeps jacking up the demands of small businesses, which are the backbone and culture of our city, and then they have more crime going on, and then they're not managing it. Then we have, not enough police. This is going to kill the beautiful culture of our city, and once it's gone, it's not going to be easy to bring back.
Yeah, restaurant businesses and entertainment are difficult businesses to run. Clyde Cooper's is packing up and leaving. That was a bedrock restaurant, Clyde Cooper's barbecue, for a long, long time. And you get this thing that at a certain point, that's it. We're done. The margin is so fine on these businesses, and they either aren't making money or they're just saying, it's just too difficult to manage the business with all the problems that we have to deal with, labor and crime and all the stuff that's going on. So yes, these things are creating an environment downtown where Raleigh has been a great destination city that has been ever increasing in popularity for people to come into and businesses to move into. And now we're starting to see those components come under fire.
Whitney, what can the average citizen do? Because we're hearing the crime rate increase. I'm also an amateur radio operator. We're hearing it on the scanners. We're hearing the delay in paramedics and first responders just overworked and not being able to get to emergencies. So, folks, you think you're not having crime in your neighborhood? Wait till you have a problem that occurs and you need those. What can citizens do to both keep up and be able to get more active? Because not paying attention to your city is the best way to see crime increase.
Well, I would say that people need to pay attention to their city like they do the national news. The local politics are the ones that really affect you. And so you can see the city council meetings online. They're supposed to be on there live, but generally what you're probably going to do is go up there and see where they've posted them after the fact, and you can go up and see those city council meetings and see what's going on. You can actually go in person to the city council meetings. Also, too, the different committee meetings, like the planning committee and the appearance committee and the greenway committees. You can go to these meetings and see them in progress and actually participate. They allow a part of the meeting where people get 2 minutes to get up to speak, and you can go in there and talk about what the issue of the day is that you want to see addressed and what your opinions are on things. So that's one way right there. Another way is to watch my videos that I put up. I have a YouTube channel, Whitney for Raleigh. You can go to whitneyforraleigh.org, see my website. I'm going to be running it again next year for city council. And these type of issues weren't being addressed back when I ran the first time. And they currently, some of them are being talked about, but they really haven't been resolved. I haven't seen expansion of the police department. Crime is still going up. We still have major problems with housing. And look, gang, just throwing a few affordable units into a luxury high rise is not going to solve the problem. We need to be building affordable apartment complexes like we used to have in Raleigh. This wasn't an issue if I go back 10, 20 years ago, and now it is.
Thanks, Whitney. This was fantastic, and I also want to say you're real responsive. If you have ideas, I've watched you adjust and change based on things you've learned in the community. So make sure to let you know if they have feedback, interest, and concerns. You're clearly out there on the ground listening to what they want.
Okay, thank you, Martin.